Good late morning, everyone. For those of you who may be watching us locally here in the Chicagoland area, or if you happen to be watching us from afar because maybe you used to live in Greater Chicagoland, and now you have moved elsewhere. Maybe you've moved to a warmer climate, and if you have, I'll be honest with you, I'm jealous today. Why? Because we've got all of this white stuff, cold weather that's hitting us pretty hard today through this weekend and into next week. So for those of you who are tuning in today's first episode of this video podcast series, Real Living in Bridgeport, I welcome you. Thank you for sharing your time with us. Let me bring in my co-host, Warren Wu. Warren, how are you?
Hi, hello everyone.
All right. By the way, before we begin, Warren, did you know this? Did you know that there is a Bridgeport, Illinois?
Yes, I do.
Dude, yeah, it's in the southern part of Illinois, right? Some small town.
Yeah, it's a really small town. People get confused when they join like Facebook groups of like Bridgeport, Illinois.
Yeah, I know. So I came across that fact. And then the other Bridgeport, which is more common, more famous, is Bridgeport in Connecticut. You probably know that as well.
That I do not.
You did not? Okay.
No, I'm surprised.
There you go. That is the more well-known Bridgeport. But all of that being said, whether you are watching us from Bridgeport, Illinois, Southern Illinois, some small town, or Bridgeport, Connecticut, hey, welcome. We're here sharing with you our conversation, our content with what we call Real Living in Bridgeport, which is one of the 77 neighborhoods in the city of Chicago, right, Warren?
Yes. It is.
Perfect. Let's lead off in this way. Warren, because you are in the business of helping clients sell and buy real estate, why don't you lead off with giving us kind of a general landscape of what is happening right now with the market of real estate in Bridgeport or close enough to Bridgeport, the neighborhood?
Well, the current market right now, there's a lot of like people still looking, but rates are really high, so it's holding people back. But recently, this past month or so, rates have been coming down, and then there's like more buying activity, and then more things are getting under contract.
Right. Because I know you live in Bridgeport.
Right.
Do you see a specific property type that's going under contract faster, easier than another type of property? Can you speak to that?
I would say there's a good amount of like single family homes that are under contract near like the school districts. That's really that goes under contract pretty fast, or like newer construction or something newer. People nowadays, they don't want to spend time to do all the work. So yeah, they prefer something like newer.
Yes, we all live in the instant gratification era where we want things kind of done right now. And what I think I know is in Bridgeport, there are several new construction developments, correct?
Correct, yes.
Okay. And they're price pointed, from what I think I know, very attractive, with the fact that it's not like a small home. A lot of the times, it's big enough, full amenities and so forth, right?
Right. I mean, right now there's a good amount of townhomes being built in Bridgeport area, and maybe like a few new single family homes, but not a lot, because construction costs right now and labor costs is really high.
That's true. Those professionals that we depend on, the skilled laborers, there's not enough of them. And of course, supply and demand, they don't work for cheap. They don't work for cheap. Just outside of the Bridgeport area, can you speak to some of the other neighborhoods that touch Bridgeport? Let's state the obvious. Chinatown, one place that you and I share in common. We probably spend a lot of time in common. That's one area, right? What
Right.
are some of the other ones?
There's Pilsen, slightly north of Bridgeport, and then there's also McKinley Park, that's southwest of Bridgeport, and Canaryville, that's south
Okay.
of Bridgeport.
Got it. Got it. In your opinion, as you worked with some of your clients, what is their reason? What is their reason to gravitate buying real estate in Bridgeport or any one of these neighboring neighborhoods?
I think one of the main reason is it's close to public transportation, the highway. So like all the major interstates are right by Bridgeport and these neighborhoods, and it's very convenient public transportation wise.
Yes.
I mean, the orange line, the red line, and the CTA buses are surrounding the neighborhood.
Got
So
it.
it's very easy to like travel or commute to like downtown or anywhere in the city or even to the suburbs.
There you go. And by the way, let me segue for a little bit. For those of you who are watching us who may be thinking of relocating, moving to Greater Chicagoland, and if you're considering Bridgeport as the neighborhood that you want to call home, that is so important with what just Warren touched upon, because let's call it like it is. If you don't have to drive, especially in today's weather, you can rely on public transportation, the subway, the bus. The more the better, right?
Right.
Yeah, I hear you. How long have you lived in Bridgeport, Warren?
Far too long. Literally my whole life.
Your whole life, okay.
Literally my whole life.
Really?
I've lived in Bridgeport, Chinatown area for literally 30 plus years.
Wow. How have you seen it transform over the past, let's say, 10 years, 20 years?
Definitely a lot has changed. Bridgeport is becoming one of the most diverse neighborhoods in Chicago. It's always been very diverse. There's
Right.
And also like food wise, they have different types of cuisine that you could choose from. So it's been growing. Like there's more like Chinese food, different types of Chinese cuisines that
True.
are coming to like Chicago or like the Bridgeport area. That's giving people like a different taste palette, learning more about different Chinese cultures from different parts of China.
Yeah, I agree. And what I've noticed, Warren, is the transformation certainly is not just with the different types of Chinese food, but also to appeal to different palates, right?
Right.
People who love more spicy foods as opposed to mild, like Cantonese food.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you and I probably know this as well, which is there's a lot of non-Asians, right?
Right.
Who go to the Chicago Bears games, and after the game, what do? Rather than immediately drive home because they're going to get stuck in what I call the interstate of parking lot because you're not moving too fast.
Right.
Then bounce into Chinatown, have a nice, inexpensive, cheap meal. And so I see a lot of that as of late. You agree?
I do agree. Chinatown has become a very touristy spot for like locals and people from out of town. Because right now, Chinatown, I think Chicago Chinatown is one of the fastest growing Chinatowns in the US.
That's what I read as well. Whereas the other bigger Chinatowns, like let's pick on some of the obvious ones, like New York City, San Francisco,
right.
They have probably a longer history. Well, California certainly has better weather than we do.
Right.
However, just like you said, I read and I heard from others where their Chinatown is not growing as fast as the one here in Chicagoland.
Correct.
Yeah, yeah. Why Bridgeport for yourself, or how do you answer that question when your clients are thinking of calling Bridgeport their next home? How would you answer that question?
I think it's conveniency, and Bridgeport is also a very good neighborhood. It has a lot to offer. Like it has a lot of schools. It has a lot of parks, grocery stores, basically shopping centers. And if you like nightlife, I mean, we have Maria's on 31st. That's a very popular spot for people to come visit.
Oh, what is this place on 31st Maria's? Tell me more about that.
It's a local bar that's been
Okay.
in the neighborhood for like many years before I was born.
Really? Okay. And is it frequented by Asians as well as non-Asians, in your opinion?
Yes, it's
Okay.
frequented by locals, and then like a lot of people that came from like different neighborhoods would come check it out because it has a huge beer selection, which I think most Chicagoans like because a lot of Chicagoans are like beer drinkers.
True, true. Especially those Chicago Bears fans. Let's now move the conversation to another aspect of your real estate business, and that is maybe some of your clients who, because they want to live in an urban area, right? So Bridgeport neighborhood, et cetera, they want to, you've heard the term house hack, right? They want to buy like a small multi-unit, live in one unit, rent out the other 2, 3, or 4 units.
Right.
In your opinion, when we finished off calendar year 2023, and with the fact that now lenders can offer financing, traditional financing, albeit to these people who want a house hack with minimal down payment of 5%, how do you think that gives them more flexibility and gives them the impact that they want?
I think it would give them great impact because a lot of people in Bridgeport it's mainly the working class. So it's a good opportunity for them to like buy a unit for like 5% down. I believe the current
Correct.
down payment for multi-unit owner occupied.
Right.
And then they could just rent out the other unit and just generate income and passive income, or like generate wealth from real estate.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Why not let your tenants subsidize your housing costs over time, right?
Right.
Now, because you and I share one obvious thing in common, we're both Asians, do you see that this also creates another opportunity? And that is, within our culture, there sometimes is the need, the interest for what is called multi-generational living, meaning, you have brothers, sisters, parents, maybe living in some of the other units. I see that as a big benefit. Do you?
I do, because conveniency for me, like I stayed in Bridgeport because I have 2 kids, and then my in-laws and my parents are both in the neighborhood, so it's within like a few minute drive, or even better with multi-units, it's just like upstairs, downstairs. So
Exactly.
if you need to do something or like have like a date night, whatnot, it's just so convenient to just have the kids, like to leave the kids with someone that you trust.
That's right. It's almost like automatic trusted babysitters.
Right.
And if you're like me, my in-laws, they're pretty good cooks. So, hey, the fact that maybe if they live closer, they live very close, upstairs, downstairs, they cook you a nice meal.
Right. Like it's like they're there, but they're not there because you live in separate units. So like you still have that little privacy that you wanted, yet you don't get all that drama from time to time with parents and in-laws.
Right. Bingo. I fully agree with you. So as we wrap up today's first episode of Real Living in Bridgeport, Warren and I would love to see you again. For those of you watching this as a live stream or as an on-demand recording in our next episode. And to give you a hint as to the frequency of how often we do this every 2 weeks. So stay tuned on social media, whether it be LinkedIn, Facebook, for when our next episode will drop. And by the way, just to tease all of you a little bit more, some of the upcoming episodes that we will share more content with you will be where we bring in other guests to talk about other things that will certainly give you benefits and give you an outcome to help you enjoy a more effective real living in Bridgeport. So in case of you're wondering, how do we get in touch with you? We have some questions. It's real easy. All you have to do is scan the QR codes that you see here, either one or both of them. Warren, Wu, and I will be ready, willing, and able to start a conversation with you. Whether your interest might be, I want to learn more about Bridgeport. I want a house hack, or I want to sell a property to buy another. Maybe, a short move within Bridgeport. All you need to do is scan these QR codes, and we will gladly start a conversation with you. So for today, Warren, be safe out there. If you have to go out again, if you have to shovel snow, because I do, be safe, be careful, because, this is the stuff that can kind of hurt you.
I know we're not young anymore.
We're not. So enjoy the rest of your Friday. Audience members, be safe out there as well. If you're in the greater Chicagoland area, if you're in a warm climate, Warren and I are just absolutely jealous, right? So there you have it. That's it for now. We'll see you in the next episode.